welcome to ThinkTech. We are raising public awareness about energy, diversity, technology, and globalism. This show is Center Stage. I'm your host, Donna Blanchard, proud managing director of Kumukuhua Theater. We are coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumukuhua Theater. I am elated to have you here. I'd like to welcome our guest, Lisa Awaya, who is the director of the Keia Dance Movement. We're going to get to her in just a moment. First, I would like to tell you that if you would ever like to join us in our downtown studio, and we are in a fabulous new studio in Pioneer Plaza now, just email j@thinktechhawaii.com and we will hook you up. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Gosh, thanks for being here. I'm really anxious to learn about the Keia Dance Movement. It's not a dance company.
No, it's not. It's just a community dance group. It's open to anyone in the public. We want to make it accessible and visible to grow greater awareness and appreciation for the art of dance. But we're not a company. We're not a nonprofit. We're just a group of people that really enjoy each other's company, and we all have a passion and interest for dance. And we're a collective of not just dancers, but artists. And together we come together and we have dance practices that are free and happen in public parks, and we jam out to a boombox every week, and we're having our first performance of the year and second multimedia production to date at the end of this month. So
at the end of this, okay, let's back up.
Yeah.
Because you're a group of people who likes to get together. So you have a regular time that you get together and jam out?
Yes.
Practice?
Yes, but I mean, it's kind of, the schedule isn't necessarily set. It changes based on when people can come or from week to week. So we have a Facebook messaging group where we kind of send out the word of where we're going to meet and when. And we have a Facebook page where we post sometimes occasionally to the public. One will be like having some regular practice, but recently it's just been it's been really up in the air just because there's been so much going on to prepare for this upcoming event that it just kind of blends around our schedules, and everyone has different work schedules. Some people work at night, some people work at the day, so we just really try to make it accommodating for everyone.
Okay. I was wondering logistically how you get together. And you have a performance coming up, so you've been getting together in anticipation of that. But like once that is over, you will continue to get together on a regular basis?
So this is our second year that Keia Dance Movement has been existent. Last year we started it in March, and we had our first performance in May, I believe, or June. And after that, everything kind of died down because I was preparing to go to graduate school, so I had to take the GRE, and I was writing applications. And one of our artistic team members, Anton Glam, started medical school, so he got busy doing that. One of our team members moved to Japan. So there was kind of a change in transition, but this year we started a new artistic team. We have new dancers on board, some of our dancers from last year, and we just started grouping together again in February, and this is going to be our second performance with our new team, and we're really excited about it.
Oh, cool. And where is it going to be?
It's going to be at Kaka'ako Agora, 441 Cook Street, and it'll be on June 26th, which is the last Friday in June.
Oh, so it's part of the June Kaboom.
It is, yes.
Going on there.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually, it's really cool. When Agora first opened, we were one of their first dance performances, and we were so excited to be in a space that was supposed to be, an area where creative minds can come together and share ideas and share different projects. So we worked with the Danny Kalakini Foundation, who supports arts and music and culture, and it was like the perfect combination. They presented our first performance, which was titled Sea Street Sky. And this year, Agora asked Keia Dance Movement to have another dance performance, and so this is our first completely hosted event.
Oh, awesome. And did you come into it with a theme? What's the theme of this piece?
So we really tried to channel Hawaii in everything that we do in all of our performances. So this year's performance is titled Past Boiling Over, and there's 3 pieces to our dance performance, and it's actually only a 13-minute performance of a 4-hour event. So I'll explain that later. But for Past Boiling Over, in our first piece, we want to showcase the past of Hawaii and the creation of the Hawaiian Islands, because we want to show the beauty of nature and how it was created on our Earth and like in our universe, but in Hawaii through the lens of literally the volcano and lava boiling over the sea level. For our second piece, we want to showcase a past, but not related to nature. We want to showcase it through humanity and human destruction. So in Hawaii, through the lens of World War II Pearl Harbor bombing, which was a really historic event in Hawaii, and show the boiling point of that moment in time when it created division, isolation, fear, separation, literally of property, and it started the creation of, like urban Honolulu, which was different than how Hawaii was before. And our last past that we're trying to showcase is our lives, our dancers' past, the past that everyone is there. And so we want to start with, the journey of our lives from the beginning, and then how it ends with the culmination of the boiling point and the boiling energy that we have in the present moment.
Oh.
So that's why our performance is titled Past Boiling Over, but our whole event is going to be related to this theme. There'll be other dance performance groups, there'll be a live artist, there'll be visual art, which is...
A live artist as in a painter or sculptor?
Yeah, one of my really good friends and my favorite artist in Hawaii, Enzi, she wants to do some type of interactive piece with the community. She has a really great idea, which I don't want to share because she may change it, but it will be tied to, to everything that we're about, which is really engaging the community. We want to bring the community together, and with Keia Dance Movement, we want to do that through dance, but for all the other artists who are part of it, we just want a space to empower other local individuals and organizations to showcase what they do, and to promote a greater awareness for their art. And so like the fashion for our piece, or for our performance, is from Barrio Vintage, which is located right here in Chinatown. The music was composed by one of our artistic team members, Anton Glam, and we're really lucky.
Anton Glam?
Yes.
I love that name.
Do you know him?
No, I don't, but I love that name.
I feel like you would. Yeah, no, it's a really good name. No, but he's so musically gifted, and we're so lucky for him to be on board. He composed our music last year, and he composed our music this year, and he really tried to fit what we wanted to create through dance and through our story in music. So everything is kind of aligned with this whole production.
Oh.
And he'll be one of our DJs. We have 3 other DJs that will be there as well, including Gerald Sims, who goes by DJ Darren. He's part of our team too, and he's newly on board this year, but when I go to graduate school in the fall, I'm hoping that he'll take over and continue leading the group. And so, back to your original question a while ago, after this performance, it won't die. We do want to continue Keia Dance Movement, so our next projects lined up for the month are, they're going to be music videos. We have a lot of visual artists on who support us this year, so we really are trying to leverage their skills. And last year we didn't have as many visual artists, so while we have this interest and while we want to work with them and we have them on board, we have a lot of music videos lined up that people are interested in doing. So that's exciting for our dancers and for them to showcase both of our talents.
Oh yeah.
But I'll be moving in August.
But you'll be okay. We're going to go more into that in a moment. But I want to make sure that we cover the full event at Agora.
Okay.
What date did you say?
June 26th.
The 26th. Okay, I'll be there.
Yay.
Sounds very cool. And from what time to what time? It's a large
5
chunk.
to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And every hour there'll be a different dance performance group, a different DJ. The live artists, I'm hoping, will be throughout. Kokua Market will be supplying food. They'll be our food vendor, and we'll have a bar there, which will be donation based, and we'll have merchandise for sale too.
Oh, it sounds like a really lovely evening.
Yeah, we really just there have been a lot of art events since I've been home over the past 2 years, but we want to make this kind of the most epic one because we haven't seen one that also featured live dance along with the art, along with the visual art. And so we're really excited to make this happen.
Very cool. Yeah, I love the combination of allowing one art to inspire another. At Kumukuhoi Theater, we've talked about what could we put together, what would happen if we brought together someone who is just playing a guitar while we're doing a play reading and someone else is painting in the corner.
You should make it happen.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, collaboration has just been like the best thing, to have so many great minds come together and who are passionate and then want to just share that with everyone else in the community, like, you can't go wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Any one of them on their own are great, but when you bring everyone together, it's just like spectacular.
Well, and I feel like the expression, the analysis of the thought gets deeper and deeper with every one artist inspired from another, inspired
For
from
sure.
another. Yeah.
For sure.
How did Keia start?
So it actually started with a group of friends, and we were at another art event called Showdown in Chinatown. I don't know if you've been to it, but it's a film-focused event. And Anton Glam was DJing there, and one of my friends who's going to host our bar was bartending. And I remember talking to another one of our artistic directors, Spencer Agustin, and we were just in the crowd, and we had a discussion, and we both love to dance, and we grew up dancing our whole lives. And I remember telling him, wouldn't it be really cool if they also had live dance right now here in this space? And then we just started talking about like our dream event. And after that, over the next few weeks, we've just continued the discussion, and there's so much support and interest from a variety of people. And then I remember my friend Brian Linares, who was working the bar and ended up joining our team. He ended up making a business plan, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't what Keia became, but it's what started everything, just having it on paper. And then we edited it, and then once we continued, you know, refining it, then we talked to Anton Glam, because I wasn't really close with him until this moment. He came to one of our meetings, and he just like immediately was like, you know, this is something that I would totally love to do before I start medical school. And with him on board and all of our enthusiasm at that moment, it was created. We ended up having our first auditions at Lana Lane Studios, where Anton had a music studio. And what was funny is we posted flyers everywhere, and we originally wanted Hawaii's best dancers to be a part of this. And you know, we didn't necessarily want one type of dance style to be choreographed, but we just wanted to bring together a pool of different dancers who were like, you know, like very experienced or professional even. But the people who came out to our auditions, they were all our friends.
Oh.
And a lot of them have never taken a dance class before or have never performed, but they just loved to dance, and they loved the group. So we ended up refining our mission, or what we wanted Keia Dance Movement to become. And instead of being exclusive, we decided to open it to anyone in the community, and we wanted to be inclusive to anyone, regardless of dance experience, your background, or if you had no experience at all. So for me, I danced ballet for 13 years at Hawaii State Ballet. Anton snuck into classes at Juilliard when he was living in New York City studying music at Columbia University, and he learned about contact improv. And Spencer had training in acrobatics. He just danced with Iona this past production. We had a few people who've done hula. Sachi, who works at ThinkTech, she had experience in belly dancing, and I met her at our auditions, and she's one of my closest friends now. Hello. We have two dancers that were self-trained, Juice and Ryan, and they're probably two of our most entertaining dancers, and they just taught themselves at home, watching videos online. So we became a collective of a lot of different dancers that weren't necessarily, you know, Hawaii's best, but Hawaii's most passionate perhaps, or like we just something we love to do when we love each other. And it's so awesome because what we created, we realized we couldn't choreograph and tell them to do, you know, like 3 pirouettes, which are dancer spins, or like do certain things. We just had to leave it more open to however every dancer chose to express themselves through movement, or wanted to, or felt most comfortable to. So we created something called structured improv. And structured improv allows everyone to choose how they want to express themselves through movement. So for me, I like bringing out some of my ballet background, but then, you know, incorporating that with new, like, modern things that I've learned. And everyone just kind of brings out what experience they've had into what structure that we create. And so for structure, what I mean is, like, for our first performance this year of the 3 pieces, we are gonna all become a volcano that literally boils over the sea level. So together we have to figure out, okay, how can we be the core of the earth and then slowly bubble up like a hot spot, you know, and then breach the sea level. And so then the dancers can choose how they want to, like, you know, how they want to be fiery. And if you, the people who are going to be fire, how would you express fire through dance?
That's exactly how I'd like it.
Yeah, you know, and fire is different from the people who be smoke. Smoke is more like billowy, but people can choose how they want to be smoke through the definitions and the structure that we give them guidance for.
How wonderful for people to have that freedom of expression. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Okay, you stay put, and you stay put too. We will be back with Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii digital series in just a moment.
Aloha, I'm Hunter Hevlin, host of Sustainable Hawaii here at ThinkTech Hawaii. You can tune in every week on Thursday at 2 p.m. to see interviews with sustainability professionals from around the state and even further abroad, learning about activities with water management, food security, waste management, and a whole host of other fascinating opportunities to get engaged with making a greener island. So if you're interested in making the transition from consuming individuals to communities of producers, check us out every Thursday.
Hi, my name is Sachiko Slomov. I'm the floor manager of ThinkTech Hawaii here. You can join us on the air every weekday from 1 to 5 or off the air at thinktechhawaii.com. We stream all of our videos and all of our amazing shows at thinktechhawaii.com or on our Ustream channel. You can also check us out on Twitter at ThinkTechHI or Instagram at ThinkTechHI also. I'll be listening, and I hope to see you there.
Welcome back. This is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii digital series. I am Donna Blanchard, your host, and I am talking with Lisa Awaya, who is with the Keia Dance Movement. Thanks for coming back with me. What do you have? Are you the director of it currently? Do you have that kind of structure?
I don't like giving myself a title, but Keia Dance Movement is my baby. It's my brainchild. And it was a project that I wanted to start to see if an idea could become something real. If, you know, like if I could implement a plan, if I could lead a group of people. And because, you know, my whole life I feel like, you know, being an only child and being raised under Asian parents who I am so grateful for and I love, they did give me so much structure my whole life that I wasn't able to really break free and do things on my own until this past year. So it was kind of a test for me to see if I could. And dance is something that I was passionate about my whole life, but when I was studying at Boston University for undergraduate, I lost touch with, and when I moved back home 2 years ago, it's something I wanted to rekindle. And all of my friends that I've made over the past few years, I feel like it's all just been centered around us dancing, whether at a house or like out in the community.
Or out. So. What does Keia mean?
Keia is a Hawaiian word, and in Hawaiian it means this right here in immediate proximity.
Oh, fabulous.
So we wanted to be this dance movement of Hawaii that's bringing together the community to dance. And that's also bringing dance to the community.
Yeah. Okay, so the idea of past boiling over, was that a collaborative effort, the idea itself?
For sure. We have a really strong group of individuals who are part of Keia Dance Movement, whether they're the dancers or the people who are behind the scenes. And everyone's input has been taken into consideration and somehow involved. So past boiling over isn't just one person's idea, it's definitely everyone's contribution. With regards to the name, the actual like dance choreography that we'll be doing, the music, well, the music was more Anton, but it was based on what everyone, you know, wanted him to create. What is going to be at our event. Everything is just based off of what people wanted to create.
Oh, okay, so you're leading a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can we talk a little bit about your background? How you said you've been dancing for a long time. You've been raised by Asian parents. That's all we know so far.
Yes.
So and you went to Boston to study.
I studied international relations.
International relations. I knew that. So you grew up here.
Yeah, born and raised.
And studied ballet predominantly, or other forms as well?
Ballet was what I ended up becoming in love with. But my mom tried to, she tried to give me a diverse selection of options growing up. So I tasted hip hop, I tasted jazz, hula. I've done it like Mayday and stuff. But when it came down to choosing what art form I wanted to stick to and dedicate to, it was ballet.
Okay.
And this overcame, ukulele lessons or swimming lessons or drawing. So it was just what I love to do.
Are your parents involved in the arts?
Not really. I mean, they have good style and taste, but they're not involved in the arts.
Oh, okay.
Quite like I am.
Okay. Did you consider going into the arts as a profession, just studying the arts, or?
That's a good question. And I remember when I was ending high school, ballet is something I dedicated 6 days a week, like 3 hours a day at least. And I remember my teacher asking me, am I going to continue professionally? And a lot of students from Hawaii State Ballet have like succeeded in becoming professional ballet dancers or dancers in other companies, not related to ballet. But my parents didn't want me to go down that path, and I think I didn't either, just because I spent so much time growing up with it that it was really all I knew, and I wanted to learn more than just dance.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting because I think, you spent that much time, you invested that much of yourself in it. To me, of course, you would want to continue to expand on that, but
It's
that's
a hobby.
An interesting take. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I studied acting, so I had the parents saying, okay, but what are you going to do for money?
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
they wanted me to have, they wanted me to have
Right.
a successful and lucrative career, lucrative. So how did international relations come up?
Well, I remember when I graduated high school, I wanted to just leave Hawaii and experience as much as I could outside of these islands. I loved Hawaii growing up, but I realized how small it was in relation to the rest of the world, and it was really the only reality that I knew. But there was so many other realities for like any other state, any other country out there, and I feel like I was pretty sheltered growing up, and my dad he doesn't like to travel, so he never really took the opportunity to take our family like elsewhere. And then my mom immigrated from Korea, so America was like, her favorite place and her like dream country, and she has like succeeded immensely as well. But traveling for me was something that we never really did as a family, so it was something I was always really curious about. And when I had the chance to study, I wanted to go as far as I could, just to get that experience of something different. And I'm really happy I went to school in Boston, and Boston University is a great institution. And I remember I didn't know what I wanted to study, so it took me 2 years, but I took a class called Globalization and Poverty my sophomore year, and that was what really like made me fall in love with the field. I learned so much just through that one class that I just wanted to understand everything I could about that field for the following 2 years. And international relations covers, the social focus, economic, political, environmental aspects of countries in the world. And these were all things that I never really knew much about, because I also didn't read really growing up. I didn't really expose myself to the news, so I didn't understand what was happening out there, and I just wanted to in college. And aside from that, I also minored in business administration and management in Spanish, but international relations is what I loved the most. And so originally, after I graduated, I thought I would want to live abroad and work abroad. I saw that there was so much need out there and so many problems, and I wanted to help fix that. But two colleagues of mine and best friends who all studied the same thing, after we graduated, we embarked on a spiritual journey throughout Asia. We are all Asian to some extent, and we never have been there. And for my friend Teddy and I, we've never been anywhere other than like westernized countries. So we wanted to explore places that we learned about in school and in textbooks, and witness extreme poverty or witness corruption or just different governments, businesses, and different things that drive economies elsewhere that's not America or not Europe. And so I was fortunate to travel to 10 countries in 30 cities, towns, and villages, and
During how long?
half
span
a
of
year.
time? Oh,
And during this point in time, I thought that like I would be able to find a place that I would want to live forever, and I would want to help out, and a place that was better than anywhere I've ever been before. But from going to all these different places, and we ended up teaching English in 3 different countries for half of the time, and like working with different organizations on the ground and learning about the community, I realized, every place has problems, and every place has, like whether it's like social, political, or economic, and there's no place that's perfect out there. Cities and towns and villages and countries, they're constantly evolving. So there's a need for improvement everywhere, and I realized that it was true even in Hawaii. So when I came back home, I ended up taking a real estate class because I wanted to learn about the different laws, players, and resources that shape a place's built and natural environment, and because it was just something I didn't understand, but I was really curious about. And once I got my real estate license, I ended up, learning about what working in the real estate field entails and means, and I found it interesting, but I didn't feel like it was making an impact in society in a really like meaningful way. And after working with the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation as a real estate management intern and nonprofit volunteer over the past 2 years, I really became passionate about both urban and community development, and that's what has prompted me into studying urban planning, because it's really a combination of both of those forces, and I've figured out that's the perfect profession for me. I mean, it's just like it combines everything that I love, and it's a way for me to contribute to making hopefully a positive and lasting and direct difference in Honolulu and in the community and wherever I can go. So
that's awesome that traveling around made you realize that you wanted to come back here.
Yeah.
And what you wanted to do with it. And we're going to have to take a break here pretty quickly, but I would like to I'd like to hear from you about the art that you witnessed when you were in these 30 cities and how many other countries, And because as far as I'm concerned, if you're an artist, and I think most of us are on some level, but if you're an artist who is actually expressing yourself through your art, everything that happens to you in your life informs that, whether it's your chosen career path or not. Everything is feeding into that, right?
Right.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. We will be right back. Before we go, I want to let you know that we broadcast every weekday from noon to 5 on Spreaker.com and Ustream.tv, and you can find all of our shows archived on YouTube and on ThinkTechHawaii.com. And you can also watch us live during the day, and just in case you are not now, if you go to ThinkTechHawaii.com, you can see our live stream, and after the live stream each day, we flip into a stream of the shows from the previous day, so check us out on that. We'll see you in just a moment.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we try to get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starling from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy, because as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it, and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table being discussed that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Hi, we're back. This is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. I am your host, Donna Blanchard, proud Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater, and we are coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in our new studio. See? Can you see the difference? In Pioneer Plaza. I'm talking with Lisa Awaya, who's the director of Keia Dance Movement, and we're just getting a little more background on you, and because you have a very refreshing approach to the work. So I'm anxious to see, well, you're welcome. You should be proud of that. I'm anxious to learn more about you as a sort of a conduit into how did this occur. And I'm fascinated about the work that you're doing with urban development, but maybe we'll come back to that a little bit later. So I started you off with the question, how being in these other countries, and you said you taught in Cambodia,
Thailand and Vietnam.
Thailand and Vietnam, so you spent concentrated time there. How do you feel that that influenced your artistic self?
That's interesting. I don't, my time spent in Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, those are some of the most influential memories on who I am today. I was working with kids and with individuals who are adults who didn't speak our language, but we all had a common goal of wanting to improve the lives of everyone in these communities. And they weren't, located in the central cities of these countries. They were located in very rural villages and farmlands, and they didn't have much infrastructure or resources to make their organizations thrive. So working together with them and just seeing the result of how we were able to just bring happiness or, bring a little bit more education about the English language and about the world through whatever way that we could. That was really amazing. But with regards to art, I'm not sure how that influenced me, the English experience abroad, but definitely being just in Asia opened up my perspective on what different types of art forms could be. Like in India, for example, it was a country that it's not necessarily the most aesthetically beautiful. There's a lot of trash on the ground. There's a lot of animals on the road, which is actually really interesting. The buildings are aged and dilapidated. There's a lot of unpaved roads, smoggy skies, but the women, they always dressed in really colorful, beautiful saris. And it's a country that there's nowhere else like it in the world. And just witnessing how color could bring so much joy and beauty to some place that necessarily wasn't without it. That was an art form that really impacted brought impact to my life. And music, in all these different countries, they had their own radio stations that played different types of music that I've never heard before. So just opening that side was a way for me to realize, there's different instruments out there that exist. And but I think what probably influenced me the most was just seeing the different types of architecture and the way that places looked built. So in Thailand, it had a completely different style of temples than India. And it had to do with, the way that the roofs were hatched or the colors that were brought out or the type of, in Thailand, all the temples had dragons that represented, that had, a different identity than what was on the temples in any other country that I went to. So just seeing how culture could influence art, that made me realize, the importance in Keia to highlight Hawaii as a part of what we're doing with our dance movement here.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it sounds like, when I ask about art and you go to architecture, the very root of the form, it sounds like that's probably very close to dance. Also, you're always a piece of architecture, right? I mean,
I've never thought of it like that, but it's true. Dance for me it's the most beautiful form of self-expression. All types of art is beautiful, but dance is something that uses the own human body. So when people are willing to dance, they're being free completely of any inhibition. And it's the most beautiful thing to watch, and it's the most beautiful thing to feel, just to see others feel comfortable, like being themselves. And so in that sense, yes, I really think that every dancer is their own piece of artwork.
yeah. So let's talk about urban planning. Can we do that?
Sure.
Because I don't know much about it. I had a little, I've had a little bit of education in it, but not much at all. How do you feel about what's going on in Kaka'ako?
I have my own personal opinion about it. I'm not necessarily against development at all. I think it's really great that Honolulu is trying to grow into a more vibrant city, and Honolulu is the place to build high rises, and it's the place to target population density and build up. It's better to have it here than out in the North Shore and on other islands, if it's the urban model that we have. However, I don't necessarily think that all the projects are targeting the needs of the community. It's not being very inclusive to the population that we have in Honolulu. It's pushing a lot of people out. I don't know anyone personally that can afford $1 million apartment unit. So who are buying these units, And I know a lot of developers are probably targeting rich foreign investors, and there are a lot in Asia who would love a house in Hawaii, but are they really going to live here? And are they really going to add to the community, or are they just going to buy a space and leave it vacant? And then it won't really create the economic development that planners say they will have. And when you push people out, that's just creating more problems too, because these people need a place to work, and if it's in town, how are they going to transport out? There's just a lot of social issues that come into play. So for urban planning, you really have to take a holistic approach, and you have to think about the needs for everyone, all the way to the bottom, and work with nonprofit organizations who understand and actually work with these communities and different constituents, as well as the developers and the investors that are financing these projects, so that they understand, and the elected officials who are pushing these policies and also providing some of the funding for it and the infrastructure, as well as the community. You need to know what the community wants, and I don't think they've necessarily done that with everything that's going up in Kaka'ako. So that's my personal thought.
Yeah, I live on the cusp of downtown and Kaka'ako, so I look in that direction, and I'm fairly new to the island. I came here 3.5 years ago.
Oh, really?
So I came here right as Kaka'ako. We were one of the first artist groups that did anything with Lana Lane. They had just gotten that place. It was one big open, smelly, greasy, place, and Kumukuhui Theater came in and did a theater project with
That's so awesome.
via Inner Island Terminal. And I loved that, and I loved seeing what Powwow is doing there, and I love going to Fresh Cafe and going to a poetry slam and that sort of thing. And I'm so fearful of what is going to happen as this builds, and I see it's not just my view is almost completely gone already, but what is going to happen in that area to the artists? That art space is going to be there. Art space is committed to being there and having a building, so there'll be a place for artists to live and to work. But how many other places are really going to be conducive to people who appreciate art but still can't afford those $1 million condos?
For sure. I mean, that's why Honolulu does need more affordable housing for people of all different professions, not just artists. And not just Honolulu, but the entire state of Hawaii. I remember when I went to Maui, I visited the Maui farm, and next to the Maui farm, there's a few other organizations. I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry, but I met this public school teacher who was homeless for the past 2 years, and she had 3 kids, and she was a victim of domestic violence or domestic abuse, and it wasn't necessarily physical, but it was verbal, and it was really affecting her life and her entire family. So the safe thing to do was for her to leave. And she was staying at these two nonprofit organizations. One was a transitional housing and one was emergency shelter that she was at prior. And that was, you know, a great opportunity for her to have a place when she didn't have anywhere else to go. But the next step was for her to find affordable housing, and she couldn't find anything. You know, she was in that process when I met her at the time, so I don't know where she is now, and I really hope she was able to find something palatable to her needs. But that shouldn't be the case, you know? Like, teachers, artists, everyone should have a home.
Yeah, and you should be able to have a home close to work.
Exactly, yeah.
And we don't need to be burning more gas. I can tell you, and I've complained about this before, but I was looking for a new place, and I manage a theater. I'm not a starving artist, but I am an artist. I live and breathe it in every walk of my life. And I looked at some spaces in Chinatown that I made, rent-controlled spaces that I make too much money to get into. And I looked in some space in Kaka'ako, rent-controlled, that I don't make enough to get into. And I talked with the people from Art Space, and I said, here are the numbers. This is a gap that you need to make sure that you're filling, and it looks as though they're coming in. I'm going to be priced out of that one also.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't know how it is even made. How do you assure that the artists have a place? Because that, and when I say that, I believe we're all artists to some extent. Even if you are not a performer, if you don't have that proclivity or that urge, to watch a performance means that on some level that is an artistic spirit within you that is being spoken to. So if we want to make sure that that is there and it's affordable for everyone, we have to keep those people in the area, or then it becomes, you know, another, now I got to put gas in my car to get to the theater for rehearsals or the space or whatever. So you're going to, we gotta wrap up here. You are going to New York University.
Yes, yeah, I'm really excited. The Master of Urban Planning program is housed in the School of Public Service, and I'm really looking forward to just expand my knowledge and my experience and my network there with a group of individuals and teachers that know so much more than me or have, you know, different experiences to bring. And to be in a city that has so many more problems and so many more solutions and people involved in it all, so that I can really learn what they're all doing and then hopefully bring that back to Hawaii in the future. So
That's good for all of us. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you so much for having me.
Do you have, how do we find out information about Keia?
So Keia Dance Movement, we have a Facebook page. I believe it's facebook.com/Keia Dance Movement, but if you just type our names in Google, everything that has been online is right there.
We'll find you there. Keia, for those of us like me who don't. But anyway, Keia, and on the 26th, you'll be in Kaka'ako in Agora, on Cook Street from 5 to 9. I will be there. Is there a charge for admission?
It's free to the public.
It's free to the public. I love Agora. That is so cool. And that about wraps up our show then. I need to wrap up our show. Okay. I would like to thank you very much for being here, Lisa. It's been a pleasure talking with you and learning about you. I would like to thank you for being here. I would like to thank Zuri Bender, our studio engineer, who is in my ear. Sachi Slomov, who's our floor manager. Thank you, Sachi, and thank you for introducing me to Lisa. And I would also like to thank Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put all of this together. We will see you next week here on Center Stage.